All right, so you've made it to part one, the introduction to human rights section. So, just as an overview, it says here for today's lesson, you will be learning about human rights, or what rights humans have, and how they're being violated. To be violated means to be broken or disobeyed. So, at the end of this lesson, you're going to be writing a claim that's going to help you outline body paragraphs for an enduring issue essay. But in this part, what we're basically going to be looking at is what rights do humans have, and then what is a violation of them. So as you'll scroll, you'll see I copied from an old slideshow. It says human rights are rights that all humans have, regardless of race, gender, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. It means you as a human have these rights. If you think back actually to one of our first units, the Enlightenment, we talked about natural rights. This is kind of the same thing. The fact that you are a human, therefore you have rights. Obviously, we know that this isn't always respected. So the first thing I wanted you to do was say, what rights do humans have? Write as many as you can think of in the space below. So I'm going to give you an example. When I think about human rights, the first one I think of, and I think it's because we live in the United States, is freedom of speech. We have the freedom to say anything as long as it won't necessarily cause harm. But we have freedom of religion, things like that. So I just give you a few examples, but try to write as many as you can think of in that space. Then you're going to move on. It says, based on the definition of human rights above, what do you think would be a violation of human rights? Meaning, what is an action that's taking away somebody's rights? And write as many as you can think of in the space below. So, for example, if freedom of speech is a right that I as a human have, a violation of it would be somebody, like, let's say I wrote something say I wrote something negative about a politician on Twitter. And if Twitter came in and deleted my tweet, that would be a violation of my human rights because I have the right to say what I feel. And if they're deleting it, they're taking away that right. So obviously there's more like killing somebody. That's a violation, right? So try to write as many as you can. After that, you're going to move on to questions 3 and 4, which first it says, a violation of human rights is any action that limits human rights. So you're going to answer a multiple choice question quickly. So it says, think back to some of the events we've learned about this year. Which of the following is an example of human rights being violated? To select your answer, highlight the option you think is correct. So I gave you some examples. It says the Holocaust, which remember is when when the Nazis killed millions of Jews during World War II. Working conditions during the Industrial Revolution, which, reminder, they were awful. Apartheid, which you learned about 2 lessons ago, which was the segregation of people based on their race, or all of the above. So you would highlight the correct answer and then move on to the next one. It says, why did you pick your answer? Just give a short explanation. Make sure you do that. It is worth 2 points, all right? The next chunk of this is a little bit of historical context, meaning a little bit of the background information about how we got to defining what human rights are, because they haven't always been defined legally. So there's a short reading here that basically says that after World War II, and specifically the Holocaust, people were like, we need to come up with a solution. So if you remember back to, we actually learned about this already, but the United Nations was created, and the United Nations was created to keep peace. United Nations, additionally, after they were created, a few years later, they create this document called, and it's underlined here, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This document basically has 30 articles or 30 bullet points that says these are the rights that all humans have. So before you move on and read about those, it says, why do you think the United Nations created the UDHR, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? So write your response there. And then it says, before you move on to the reading, click this link to watch a video. So you're going to click the link and it's going to bring you to a video. It's a TED Ed one. So you see I'm doing it.
When I first saw this product, I thought it looked kind of crazy.
Yep.
Didn't really understand what the benefits would be, but
skip that. It'll get you to a video and it basically
the idea into practice. To reaffirm faith
talks about
in fundamental human rights. It lists 30.
So it goes into some of the human rights and it just gives you a little bit more of an overview of them. So watch the video, and then you're going to read. I just put some of the rights in here because it's 30 articles. I'm not going to make you read all of them right now. If you'd like to, you can look it up. But you're going to read about the articles. So, for example, it says all human beings are born free and equal. Like no one should be held in slavery. No one should have cruel torture. Everyone has the freedom to move. Freedom of religion, of expression, all those things. Then you'll answer the last 3 questions of this part. It says, according to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, what rights do humans have? I want you to list at least 4. 7, which of the rights do you think is most important? That's your opinion. And then which rights do you think are being violated the most? Or which right do you think is? So which one of those things from up here do you feel like is not being respected? After that, you are done with part 1 of the lesson.